Good afternoon. Today we have a special assembly planned for you. As you know, there is no school tomorrow because we are celebrating Veterans Day. So I hope today's assembly will help you to understand why this day is so important and why we should honor all the men and women who serve in our armed forces to keep us and our country safe. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I would like to invite Paige Schoen to lead us in the pledge.
Assembly stand. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Paige. Very well done. And now we have some fourth grade students who will share some information about Veterans Day with you. You will hear from George, Julia, Victoria, Leonardo, Valentina, and Stephen.
Veterans Day is an official United States holiday which honors people who have served in the armed services. It is a federal holiday that is observed on November 11th.
Veterans Day is not to be confused with Memorial Day, which honors men and women that have died in the service of their country.
Veterans Day is celebrated on November 11th to commemorate the signing of an armistice which ended World War I. It was signed on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918. That was 102 years ago.
Veterans Day was originally called Armistice Day to honor World War I veterans.
In 1954, Armistice Day was officially changed to Veterans Day and became a day to honor all American veterans wherever and whenever they served.
Tomorrow, many schools, including Buckley, will be closed to celebrate Veterans Day. I hope you will be able to say thank you for your service to a veteran on Veterans Day.
And now I would like to introduce you to a veteran that is here today. United States Army Specialist John Neubauer. Specialist Neubauer served in the Army National Guard and the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. He is the proud grandfather of 4 wonderful Buckley students. We call them the Ferrucci foursome. Michael in 5th grade, Dylan in 3rd grade, and Ryan and Reed in 1st grade. Thank you so much for being with us today, Specialist Neubauer, and sharing your story. I know it will be inspiring for all of us.
Good morning. When I was 19 years old, 4 of my close friends from the neighborhood enlisted in the Army National Guard and was stationed at a Nike Ajax missile silo in Lido Beach, right here in Long Island. The mission of that base was to launch those missiles to destroy any missile that was fired at us during an enemy attack. Our enemy at that time was the Soviet Union, Russia. I decided that I wanted to join my friends and become part of that group of soldiers. In order to do that, I had to go on active duty in the Army to receive basic and advanced training. I started out at Fort Dix in New Jersey and underwent the basic Army intensive training course. It turned out to be much more difficult than I had ever experienced anything like it before. In school, I leaned more towards academics than athletics. But after weeks of doing uncountable push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, 5-mile marches, my body was transformed into a lean, mean fighting machine. And I recall one of the field experiences, the exercises at Fort Dix, where while holding my rifle, I had to crawl through mud underneath a canopy of barbed wire while a machine gun fired bullets over our heads. I didn't realize it at the time, but it was probably my first golf lesson. Keep your head down. After basic training, I was shipped out to Fort Gordon, Georgia for advanced training in my MOS. MOS stands for Military Occupational Specialty, or job. My MOS was 722, switchboard operator. And that's a job that has since become obsolete thanks to all of the innovations in consumer technology. While I was away from home, I really missed my family and my girlfriend. And each day I look forward to mail call, hoping to get a letter, usually from my girlfriend, who later became my wife, my mother or my grandmother's. One time my mother sent me a home-baked pie via parcel post. And by the time I got it, it was just a box of stale crumbs, but I appreciated the effort. The scariest time in the Army for me was when Fort Gordon was put on high alert during the Cuban Missile Crisis. My buddies from the base were being flown down to Key West, Florida in full combat gear for the possible invasion of Cuba. Key West is the closest point in the United States to that island. Russia had installed nuclear missiles in Cuba that were aimed at the United States with the blessing of that island's communist leader, Fidel Castro. Fortunately, our president at the time, John F. Kennedy, stood firm against that Soviet threat. The missiles were removed, they were shipped back to Russia, and our troops did not have to go to war that time. I was fortunate to have two proud moments in the Army. The first was when I qualified as an expert marksman with my M1 rifle, and as a reward for that achievement was given a weekend pass a day early. Being a guy who wore eyeglasses since he was 10 years old, I thought I would never be able to do that. But the Army had a way of getting you to be all you could be, and coincidentally that's a slogan that the Army uses in their advertising and their recruiting efforts: be all you can be. The second proud moment was when I was named Outstanding Graduate of the Southeastern Signal School for getting a perfect score on the switchboard operator proficiency exam. And during a special awards ceremony, I was presented with a plaque and certificate by an Army major, a female officer, which was unusual in the 1960s. After active training, I served 5.5 years in the reserves, reporting for duty 1 weekend each month, 2 weeks during the summer at Camp Drum. And looking back at my time as a raw recruit in Fort Dix, New Jersey, I'm struck by how different all of the new recruits were. We had one soldier who was a farm boy in Kentucky who couldn't stop raving about the great food in the mess hall and how neat it was to have these shiny new boots on his feet. We had another guy from Brooklyn who was miserable because he wasn't able to hang out with his friends on some street corner singing doo-wop tunes. But by the time we finished that grueling basic training, after spending morning, noon, and night together, it turned out that we weren't that different after all. We were brothers in arms. We were proud soldiers in the United States Army.
Thank you so much, Specialist Neubauer, for that wonderful message. I especially liked your words when you said, be all that you can be. That is a wonderful message for all of our students today. We have been honored to have you with us, and on behalf of the entire Buckley community, I would like to say thank you for your service. Okay. We will now end our assembly with a beautiful rendition of God Bless America, the fourth graders under the direction of Dr. Glennon.
Across the sea.
So boys and girls, I know that you now have a better understanding of the importance of Veterans Day and of why we celebrate it every year. So remember Stephen's message. If you can, say thank you for your service to a veteran tomorrow.